Hey YouTube, how's it going today? I'm here to do a review on the NV Deadluxe Signature deck. As you can see, I've been riding it for a little bit. Definitely a super fun deck. Currently my setup is the Dedine SIG, 100mm full core NV wheels, Urban Art SCS in chrome, SOB V3s in chrome, Wise XL OGT bars, tilt topos, and Assault Plus headset. So I've been riding this deck for a little bit. I've really enjoyed it because I'm a big fan of 6 wides. I have size 13 feet, so it's really hard to find a deck that fits me. I started with a native a little over a year ago and some decks before that. Hopped on Urban Art 6 wide not too long ago, loved it. And I was just like, Envy has a 6 wide? It's a no-brainer. Envy's first 6 wide, why wouldn't I buy it? So I bought this deck. I wasn't too sure what to think at first because I wasn't too sure if I wanted to run the boxed ends or if I wanted to run 4 pegs. So, first day out riding this deck, I fell in love with it. The head tube angle, everything, it's just so balanced. I must say the design on this deck is one of the best I've ever felt from Envy. The fact that it has removable plugs that you can replace when they break is even better. So some people say there's downfalls to having the plastic dropouts. For example, some of them will break, but that's just from wear and tear. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. So essentially, over time, yes, it will break, but the thing is, it won't break the deck. It'll only break those dropouts. So if those dropouts do break, just go get new ones. So a lot of people I know, they're gonna give me some trouble for riding 100mm wheels on a 6 wide. So this kind of came into light maybe a week ago. I originally rode 110 Proto Orange Faded wheels, as that's whatever you saw my setup right off the bat, and I had tilt parts on it. So I was finding the 110s a little bit weird for me, although that's like my go-to wheel. My other 6 wide has 110s, my TSI has 110s. So I'm just like, you know what? Let's try some 100mm and see how I do. So I must say with the 100mm wheels, it definitely takes a lot of precision on your fakies and a lot of certain tricks. So if you're planning to ride 100 mils, beware. So this deck, I've had no issues with it. The one thing is that you will notice is that there is a slight gap on the back on the dropout when you tighten your deck ends. As when you tighten them, it compresses, making it tighter and creating that little bit of a gap. But in my opinion, that's just there due to the compression. So essentially like an SCS, for example, it has to clamp down. Where the deck ends, they have to clamp down where they'll be safe and sturdy. So that's one thing that that's the only thing I've noticed about this deck. The only drawback to this deck is that the bottom of it. So if you'll notice, just like a regular Envy deck, it's got grind rails on either side. That takes away about an inch, maybe more, on both sides. Because if you can see, there's the grind rail, there's the wheelbase right there. This isn't flat. Like you can see, if you watch my finger, it's actually stopping right there, just to prove it to you. You can also see from the wear that it's only on either side, and it's not right here. There is some scratches right here, because they do dig into the graphic, which is quite normal for decks of this size. I must say the blunt plate, I've maybe used it once for a couple of Smiths, and that's about it. I must say though, when I did those Smiths, it slid quite well. The deck ends can slide on just about anything, which I really enjoy. As you can see, I like to ride loading docks and things like that. So you can see I've kind of worn this one down. I really dig the graphic on this because it really sets the deck apart. Nobody's ever came out with a graphic similar to this that I've actually enjoyed. Because this one, it's not overkill. It's just the right amount. Okay, so the best thing you want to do is do your looking into it. Research decks, look around, see what options there are. If one of your friends has a 6 wide and you think you want one just because they have one, don't think that way. Go out, try it, go out and riding with them, get them to let you ride it for the day maybe or something, just something like that. Just so you can give it a feel, see how you like the width, see how you just like the way you ride it. It's all in your riding style. I ride a 6 wide because I don't do a lot of like bri flips or anything because I've never personally tried them. I more or less kind of like to ride loading docks, ledges, and I've just now started to kind of start riding like half pipes and whatnot. It's not really my thing, but it's something I'm kind of getting into. I ride somewhat of a more flat ground, like just like I said, flat ground, ledges, and like just weird things. Because I'm a little bit more street like that. I don't really like to go to a park just to do certain tricks. So one thing you want to be aware of is the size of your feet, and how you're gonna have it set up. Because let's say right now, let's say you're riding a NV Prodigy and it's too small. I believe they come in at 4.7 wide by about 19.5. So if you were to bump that up to a 6 wide, that's a huge increase. That's about 1 inch and 3/10, I believe. 1 inch and 3/10, we'll say, just ballpark. And if you're thinking about it, that's just such a big increase. That's just the width. Or if you're going from 19.5 to 23, that's a 3.5 inch difference. You're gonna feel that. So let's say you can do triple whips on a Prodigy, and you jump up to a 6 wide. Have fun with that. It most likely wouldn't work out too well for you. That's why the best thing to do if you want to move up to a bigger deck, and you're riding, let's say, a 5, maybe go for a 5.5, and then maybe down the road look into a 6 wide. 6 wides are very fun, but they're only for a particular set of riders. There's a lot of guys that I know that will ride Apex decks. There's the new Apex Street decks, a lot of things like that. Apex are a smaller deck, super fun though, super light, but they're quite expensive. They're about, I believe, 400 plus Canadian, and most likely it's going to be a little bit more out of your budget. So a deck that I would recommend if you're trying to go street and you want to get a bigger feel is possibly the Aztec Fountain or the Aztec Fountain 5. They're the same deck, one's just newer than the other. They have a bit of a different head tube design, but it's not the biggest difference. So you also want to take a look into precautions. So let's say right now you're riding a NV Max Peters AOSV4 or Raymond Warner AOSV4, and you've never rode anything bigger than that. Maybe try the NV AOSV4 XL, the boxed version, or something like that. Like that's 5x22. That's a decent street size setup. Because up until a couple years ago, 6 wides didn't really, I guess, show up on the map. They were very down low, not a lot of people rode them, where now a lot more people are starting to ride them. Personally, what I would recommend is if you really want to go street, and let's say you don't have the 300 plus, I believe mine was about $339 plus taxes for just the deck. And let's say if it's going to cost you too much, maybe look into something like maybe a Street Complete. I know Mag Gear offers a new one. It's called the MGP Bermuda, I believe. And then there's also one by Aztec. It's called the Aztec Fountain 5. Both of these are available at a wide variety of places. If you're in Canada, the only place to get the MGP Bermuda would be Jibs Action Sports. The Aztec Fountain Complete, I believe that's available almost everywhere, but I know it is available at Jibs Action Sports as well. So one thing to look out for is sizing. Is it the right size for you? I'll leave you with that thought. Enjoy your day.